It's gonna be a good day. Hey, YouTube. I decided I better pull my laptop back out and make another video because I ain't been doing enough of that. But listen, I'm at the point on the ladder where it's getting up pretty high there on the face of that house. And I start getting up high enough, I start getting that kind of uncomfortable feeling like I'm really high off the ground and I could really get hurt. And I'm out here by myself. And, you know, So I decided I would do the right thing and get me a few wobble pops going here. And hell, I'll be up on the top rung of that ladder, 2, 3 beers down the line, no problem. That works every time for me. So, sometimes some people need to get some Red Bull so they can get their job done because Red Bull gives you wings and Bud Light gives you balls to climb up extra high on the ladder. So, Red Bull gives you wings and Budweiser gives you courage. So I reckon I'm not in need of any Red Bull. Anyhow, I ain't had a cold beer in about 3 weeks or so. I don't do much drinking anymore. I'm pretty much lost the taste of it, or losing the taste for it. But it's an absolutely perfect day here in God's country. I'm doing one of the things I love more than anything, and I have really kicked ass on this house this week. I think this is day 7 since I started making videos for y'all. It's a little bit more than that because I spent a couple days weed eating the lawn and trimming things down and carrying shit out of here and things like that before I even started actually working on the house. But about day 7 of straight work, mostly painting and fixing and cleaning as I go, and slapping a lot of paint around. And I've worked really hard, and Mother Nature has given me blessed me with the opportunity to keep painting, so I'm going to take it. And today I'm going to go a little higher on the ladder than I'd like to. So, cheers, y'all. Well, I'll be dipped if this beer ain't nearly cold enough. I'm going to have to talk to Victor, see what he's doing to the old coolers up there. I must have got one, just got stocked or something. Well, God dang it. Gosh darn it. That there's good beer, though. Hey, that's a good gosh darn beer. I didn't lose the taste for beer. What the hell was I talking about? I don't know, folks. I'll tell you what. I'm going to put in another 3, 4, maybe 5 hours today. Use all this daylight. But I'll tell you, I've been getting a little excited about wrapping this job up here today, for the day, and running home and tearing my wife's pretty pink panties off. Know what I'm saying? Because they're riding way up my ass. It's not comfortable at all when I'm up on that ladder. But hell, I don't know. I don't know how you ladies do it. But anyway, yeah, that's on my mind. There's that. But yeah, I got a quote from my buddies to come and patch up that roof. And he quoted me $1,100, and I thought that was pretty fair. Pretty hard to get a couple of fellas. There'll be 2 of them. Pretty hard to get a couple of fellas to show up and get on your roof for anywhere less than that. I think if any of y'all have looked at the pitch on this roof, it's about a 12-12. Only a really experienced roofer can walk on that stuff. Pretty much they have to go up there and build little steps and stuff to stay safe. Like I said, I ain't doing it. No doubt about it. I mean, unless I had to, folks. But the good news is I don't, and a much, much smarter allocation of funds to have the professionals do it. Now, these particular guys, like I said, I'm lucky to get these guys. And anyway, I thought it was a pretty fair quote. He's talking about doing 3 rolls of roll roofing up there. And I may just talk them into doing all 5. There's 5 rows of what's called roll roofing, which is very similar to a shingle, only not as thick. It's like a cheap version of a shingle. It's basically like an asphalt shingle, but it comes on a roll, and Great for using to like roof a chicken coop or something. You can just roof it real fast, but it also works fine on the top of a house. Not going to last as long as shingles and that sort of thing. And as I showed you guys before, that's some of this has, I would say, it rotted a little bit, therefore pulled away from the nails, and some of it has blown off the house. Now we have a lot of winds up here. Very common to get 50-mile-an-hour winds up here. So your shit's got to be nailed down. Anything ain't nailed down. I mean, we get enough winds, you get tired of it, you know. Because old Lucky's house, after a windy day, I got to go outside and clean the yard. Shit blowing everywhere. You know, one time I was out in the yard picking up beer cans. They were everywhere, and someone walked by and they were looking at me funny, wondering why there's beer cans all over the yard. And I said, "Hey, the Easter Bunny did show up." They just kind of kept going. But yeah, there's that. You know, can't leave a big stack of beer cans outside in case it's going to be 50 degrees tomorrow. They'll end up all over the neighborhood, you know, and everybody will know they're mine. So you can't go that route. It's not like I can be standing there going, "I have no idea." They'll know. But it sure feels good to sit down and have a beer, y'all. Well worth a celebration today. It is Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock. And I've been getting up every day about 6 a.m., being over here by 7 or 8, and having at it. And some days wrapping it up at 4 or 5 o'clock, and several other days going until just about dark. And yesterday I was very sore and very exhausted. Really struggled yesterday with exhaustion. Today I feel really good. I got I maybe worked 8 hours yesterday. Took it a little easier. I mean, I was so dang sore. I think I told you all I did all that trim. Just trim all day with a 1-inch trim brush, and so it wasn't quite as laborious, if that's the right word. Laborious sounds like I'm trying to get a mummy to live again. Laborious. It's been so laborious. But yeah, anyway, I figured I'd fire this thing back up and have a beer with my friends here, and we'll talk about the old house here a little bit some more. As I was telling you guys, I haven't done hardly anything inside the house because curb appeal is so important. And of course, once the weather turns against me up here, which is inevitable and can't be too much further down the line, then I will go inside and start spending 8 hours a day inside, and then some stuff will really get done in there. But for now, I've been experimenting upstairs and doing some paint, and learned a little bit about raw drywall. First thing to tell all you folks, if you don't know this, now it's unusual to find yourself in a situation where you need to paint raw drywall. I can honestly say I've never done it. Never gave it much thought. But every house that I've ever flipped or whatever already had drywall on the walls, and it had already been painted probably several times, right? I've just never had to paint raw drywall. So I learned something new, and of course I learned the hard way. You definitely want to use primer, and you want to use a drywall primer on your drywall before you paint it. And it's looking like you probably want to use at least 2 coats of primer. You definitely want to make sure the drywall is done sucking up the primer, and then you can paint. And again, I'm learning the hard way. I did a wall in white. It took 3 coats of white paint, and I think it needs another coat. And that was straight on the drywall with no primer. I realized that wasn't a good idea because it took me 3 coats, and I think it needs another coat. So then I got some drywall primer, and I primed a big wall, and then I started painting that wall yellow. Now, I only used 1 coat of primer on that wall, and when I came back and looked at it after it dried, it did look splotchy. And I should have told myself, well, that drywall drank up a lot of that primer, and I should have done a second coat of primer. But that sounds like really tedious, right? 2 coats of primer, then I'm going to roll paint on it. So I'm like, no, 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 no. I want to see what the paint looks like. So now I'm 5 coats of yellow paint on top of 1 coat of primer, and I can still see splotchiness on the wall where the drywall is still drinking up